Okay, back to what I was saying. So, I was having a conversation with a friend last night, and yesterday was honestly just another gift from start to finish of just beauty and energy and just motivation and just happiness and joy. It included an amazing hike for like 3 hours with my amazing dog and an amazing woman, and it included helping my kids get ready for homecoming, and the fact that my daughter went with her best friend and had the time of her life and enjoyed it to the fullest, her first homecoming dance. I was present for every single moment of that. And the day before, I cleaned and cooked for hours and went to my son's homecoming football game, which happened to be his birthday, his 17th birthday, which is freaking weird. And afterwards, him and several teenagers, including Nyla's friends and including Lena's friends, including a lot of his friends, came over and enjoyed my home and the copious amounts of amazing Mexican food I made, which I acquired the skill from my sister-in-law because she's amazing and the best Hispanic cook I've ever met in my life. Anyways, so there have been the last 2 days, just full of energy and operating out of a wellspring. And it's just renewed my faith in myself. So, anyways, this hike that I had yesterday, I took my dog, which I've been taking her. This is part of my healing. I've been taking her for 2 walks a day. She craves them, and it wasn't just for her, it's for me. So she will not leave me alone until I do said walks with her, and I'm always so happy when we do. She's bringing me her rubber ducky right now, which is hilarious. There you go. So we took her on this hike, and I mean, it was out in the woods, just out in the woods where we could get lost. Like, seriously, she could have got lost. She never strayed far. She might walk a few steps ahead, and then she'd come back. But she would not only just come back to me, she would go back to my friend if needed, because she knew where she was supposed to be. We never had to get onto her. We never had to tell her to behave. It was incredible. And she just enjoyed it so much, as we did too. So later on, my friend and I helped she helped me get my daughter and her friend ready with some jewelry and some shoes, and we just took pictures of them, and just, it was so much fun. But while we were waiting for them to call us when they were done with dinner, because they don't drive yet, so we made sure that we would be there to pick them up and take them to homecoming, which is amazing, because I'm usually always finding excuses for my children to find rides from other people, because I know that I'm going to be drinking, so I'm not going to go pick them up. And I didn't have to worry about that, and I was thrilled and excited that I was there for every freaking moment of it. So we went back to my friend's house, and we sat there and just were having amazing conversations about how great our day was. There wasn't one moment yesterday where there was depression or stress or feeling overwhelmed. The day flowed in the most beautiful way, and we were just sharing that, like how incredible it was together. And then she started talking about Raine, and she's like, Lindsay, I don't know if you know how incredible your dog is. Like, she's amazing. Like, the fact that she is just on point. She listens, she follows, she just is the best dog. And I'm like, I just had this realization, and I don't mean this to sound like, oh, like, look at me, but it's just like, I had this realization that, holy crap, I did something, and I didn't even realize I did it. I got Raine in March, and I did not want to get her. I had just gotten a kitty a few months before that, thanks to my Morgan, who brought her to my house without me wanting her. and Kitty helped get me through some really weak and sad and depressing times this last winter. She helped pull me out of a deep, dark depression after I tried to kill myself in December, which is true. And she was a gift. She was a gift to me. I have not had a cat since I was little. I had a cat when I lived in Arizona, and her name was Lena. And as a lot of people know, I named my firstborn after her because she was so special to me. She was my cat. And so she has been just kind of like this, a gift of just the spirit of my cat Lena when I was little, who I loved and adored tremendously, that I had to leave behind in Arizona. We had another couple cats growing up, but I never was close to them. I never really, I don't know, because it was just the one that I loved. So last night I was just kind of realizing that I did not want Raine. My kids wanted Raine bad, and my husband did not want Raine. And I don't know why I even accepted it, but I did not go into it lightly. I have had, well, us as a family have had 4 other dogs since we've all been a family. The first one I loved. The first one I also trained her myself. Her name was Sophie, and she was a miniature dachshund who was precious. And I did not like her at first because dachshunds are the hardest things to train ever. But I did start getting her trained, and she would sleep with me at night, and her little tiny body just fit right here, and I'd wake up and the cover of her little nose would be sticking out, and it was so sweet all the time. And one day she accidentally got let out the front door. My daughters were little. I think Lena was 3 and Nyla was 1, or Lena was 4 and Nyla was 1. And I went out there, and she had crossed the road, and I called her back to me, and I looked to my left and saw a car coming, and I just knew it was going to happen. And I just screamed, and I saw her get hit, and it was so sad to me. And I took her to the vet, and she was crushed. The bottom half of her body was crushed, and she was still alive. And they're like, she could have surgery, but it's just, not likely. And I'm like, I understand. So they gave her a lot of morphine. They told me to take her home and love her. And I did. And I put her in her little kennel that was right beside my bed. And I sang to her, and I prayed for her. And she just looked at me and loved me. I fell asleep. And at that time, my husband was working at Thomas Hill at night shift. He woke me up around 5 a.m. Told me he had just got done burying her. And because she was dead when he came home. And he buried her in our backyard. And he was so sad too. He really loved her too. And I just cried and I cried. I couldn't quit crying all day. Meanwhile, a friend of mine had a litter of boxer pups, and she's like, have one of these, like, it'll help you get through. And so I made the quick decision to bring a boxer pup home that night to try to cover that and comfort that. And that has been my cycle of life. Like, I don't deal with pain well. I had to deal with pain way too much growing up. And I, from the time I was 10, have been covering it. It's a whole nother story, but pain hurts for me. So I brought her home, and I knew it was a mistake. Even the first night I snuggled with her, I'm like, she's too big. I miss my little thing. Oh goodness, I have to do this whole potty train thing all over again. Yada yada yada. Well, this dog her name was Sunny, and she was freaking crazy. She thought she was tiny, and she was nuts. And she was a lot to handle. And one time she ran away, and I spent hours looking for her, and I was sad because obviously I loved her. and I needed to find her. Finally, someone called me and told me they found her. I went and got her, brought her home, and I don't know how much longer it was, but I'm like, I can't do this. She's just not it. She's just not. I know that sounds selfish, but I'm like, this is just not working. So thankfully, my friend found a home for her that was on a farm, and she had other boxer dogs to play with, and it was fantastic. She went to them. Then I don't even know, it was in 2013. My kids wanted another dog, and we went to go get this dog, and it was ugly. Oh my gosh, you guys, this dog was ugly. I know that sounds awful, but I'm like, even then I'm like, I don't want this dog, but I feel like I have to do this for my kids because they're here, and I should probably do this. Did not like it from the moment I got it. My husband did not like it from the moment he got it. The kids didn't even really like it. They pretended that they did because they knew they wanted to have it so bad. No, this dog, I swear to God, was missing chromosomes. And one day it ran off, and we never found it. We didn't really care. Like, we were like, it's good. It's a good thing. So then, in 2017, my husband's father passed away, which was really hard. And he had a little dog, a little Yorkie named Wendy, and she was tiny, tiny. And there was really nowhere else for her to go because she loved my husband's father, my father-in-law, so much. She was spoiled. Her health was bad. It was training another dog all over again. And I just wasn't into that, you know? Like, I'm like, I don't have time for this. Like, and I was training for a half Ironman at the time, yada, yada, yada. But we had her for a long time. And she loved Joel. She would wait for Joel to wake up and all this. And I planned on keeping her. I got her groomed. I did all that stuff, but her teeth were so bad. So bad. And I knew, like, Josh was going through this period of time. He was laid off all the time. We could not afford her dental work. And she needed to have it done. And his aunt said, I'll take her. I'll take care of her. And we were like, that's the best. That's what we need to do. And so he took her, and we put her with his family, which was a good decision. But the thing is, I didn't want to do that again. Like, I was like, okay, we're not a pet family. We're going to quit having pets. Like, they just, this is too much. Like, I don't want to be that person that has dogs in and out, in and out. Like, I know people like that, and I don't take that lightly. And so, as you could tell with all the stories of the dogs that we did have, like, I tried. I didn't just blah with them, So then comes Raine, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm making this decision. My husband was working in India at the time. He did not want it. I guess I just knew that, okay, if I'm going to do this, this is a lifelong commitment. And in this lifelong commitment, I'm going to give this dog my all from the beginning. I'm going to train her correctly. I'm going to have her on a schedule. She's going to have a feeding schedule. She's going to have a potty schedule. She's going to be kennel trained. She is everything. And I even took my kids out to dinner before we even brought her home. We sat down, brought paper and pen with us, and we wrote down the rules of what was going to take place with this dog, because I told them, I'm like, we're not, if this dog comes to our family, it's our family member now. That is what's happening. And they were all about it. We came up with the rules together. We came up with a plan. They named her. And she became ours. She was beautiful and fantastic from the beginning. Obviously, she was a puppy. She had to be trained. But you guys, she has been with me, like, the majority. Like, she took really a lot to Nyla, because Nyla was online learning for the second half of the year last year. So she comforted Nyla and spent a lot of time with Nyla. But when it came to, like, the things, having the moms around, the leader, the alpha, Raine really took to me. I've been alone a lot. I have spent a lot of time alone in my home, and Raine has been my companion. And I didn't realize until last night that I was so proud of myself. Like, this dog really is phenomenal, you guys. Like, you could tell she's had attention and love and discipline. And I didn't realize that it wasn't just me either. My kids have really tried to be on board, and they've done a fantastic job too, because we sat down and we knew this was a commitment. Raine is our family member. But it just hit me so much yesterday, like, holy shit. Wow. Anyways, so my friend was telling me, she's like, we started talking about dogs we had when we were young. She's like, we had one, but like, we wouldn't want to like snuggle with it or anything, but like, it was our dog. She's like, as we played as little kids, like, it followed us everywhere, and it was our companion. And I said, your nanny? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, we had one of those too. And it immediately made me think of Peter Pan, like with his dog, or with Wendy's dog, that dog that's like their nanny, when the parents are gone and never paying attention to the children or whatever's going on. There's the dog, And I really started recalling the fact that we had Mocha growing up. Mocha was our family's beloved chocolate standard poodle. In 91, so how old was I? 7. We went to the Pound, or the Humane Society actually, and my mom wanted a dog. And this dog just latched onto her. She spent the next half hour out in this yard, and this was in Phoenix, out in this yard that they had at the Humane Society, loving this dog, and this dog just loved her. And I remember watching from inside the windows, because we didn't go out there with her, because I remember the people saying, like, standard poodles aren't really great for kids, like, she needs to get warmed up to the adult first, like, okay. And we just watched her, and it was just a beautiful moment. Like, I think maybe that was one of the times I saw pure joy in my mom, like pure, real joy. And we brought her home. And she was my comfort. And there's something that Raine does that I allow her to do that I realize is really annoying to people probably, but like, I allow her to kiss and lick and just love me. She just licks. Doesn't bother me one bit, and I know why. My home was a tumultuous situation, the fighting that went on between my mother and father, and just the craziness. My dog, Mocha, our dog, would lick my hand to sleep as a child and just comfort me till I fell asleep. She was the steady. She was the calm. She was the equilibrium in our home. We grew up with her. So many amazing memories having Mocha in our lives. When I was 8 months pregnant, I was getting ready to turn 19. I was out in the woods chopping and loading wood with my ex, because that's what I was expected to do, even though I was like in pre-labor that time. So loading wood, freezing to death, 8 months pregnant, and my mom calls me and tells me they had to put Mocha down. I mean, well, obviously we knew it was coming. We got Mocha when I was 6. She was put down when I was 18, almost 19 years old, actually a month away from being 19. She was put down in the most strenuous, abusive time of my life. And I got that call out in the middle of the woods, pregnant, in a situation of terrible abuse, with my daughter Lena, who I named after my cat when I was little. And I got that call, and that was hard. That was really freaking awful. A couple of years before Mocha died, my mom got Huckleberry Finn. He was our Weimaraner. What was so funny is my friend last night had never seen a Weimaraner or heard of a Weimaraner. And we realized, like, a lot of people, well, even when we grew up in Macon and even here, like, people don't really know what Weimaraners are. I don't know what that's all about, but Weimaraners were a thing when we were growing up. Like, they're a They're a good dog. They're a great breed. Anyways, we got Huckleberry about 2 years before Mocha, and I think it was that my mom sensed Mocha was probably going to leave, and she was doing that same thing. She wouldn't be able to bear it. She would not be able to bear Mocha dying, so she had to have a place where there would be comfort, where it wouldn't hit so hard. And Huckleberry was like an old soul. These blue eyes, this gray silver fur, and he was like this old grandpa, just like this spirit of like, everything's gonna be okay. I'm here to take over. Like, I don't know. It was pretty incredible. So after I had Lena, my daughter, when she was 6 months old, I left the abusive situation. I moved back in with my parents. Josh and I found each other again, and I found my own place. I had my own apartment by myself. I felt that independence, and I was ready for my life to be different and ready for it to be new. And so I had Jonah with Josh, and Huck loved Jonah. He loved him some Jonah, and Jonah would just love all over him as a baby, and it was just pretty cool. But I never really got to have much of a relationship with Huck, but I just remember him being this calming presence and this like okayness, that we were gonna be still okay. We knew our mom would still be okay because she had Huck. And me and my husband moved away to Iowa, and really I didn't really have much interaction with Huck until like anytime I went over to my parents' house and Huck was there, and he was awesome and he loved the kids. And then I want to say either 2013, I think it was 2013 or 2014, my mom called me again, and this time there's a fire truck going by, I think. I'll wait a minute. Anyways, so my mom called me this time. She lived in Arizona. She had separated from my dad in 2007 when I was 8 months pregnant with my daughter Nyla, and left. She left with my brother, took Huck too. That's when my life really, I was able to not be around my mother anymore, and my eyes started opening. Me and my husband had been doing amazing. He was a gift. He was the calm. He was the stillness and the everything's going to be okay. So, when my mom called me this time, me and my husband were celebrating our anniversary in Herman on a wine trail, celebrating. And by the way, that was before I could handle these things. And we were enjoying each other's company and doing our favorite thing. We loved going to those wine trails. That was our thing in Herman. And my mom called and told me she had to put Huck down. And I was okay. Like, I was sad, obviously, because I loved him, but it was like this, like, it was a letting go also at that time. Like, I could feel him being like, it's okay, you're safe. Your brother's safe. I did my job. Did my job for your mom, and I could go now. Oh my gosh, you guys, how different those stories are. When Mocha was put down, I was in the most terrible spot. And when Huck was put down, I was in a joyous spot. And then here comes Raine. And Raine's presence to me is Mocha and Huck. She has gotten me through a hard time, and she's here with me. She is seeing me through to the joyous times. That may sound so stupid, but to me it's seriously, literally, the presence of God just loving me, showing me how much He cares about the deepest things, the unseen things, the things that matter to me so deeply that I didn't even know. That can't be seen on the outside. And oh my goodness, I just wanted to take this time to express it because it was like a revelation to me. God provides for you in the hardest times, and you need to look and really evaluate and see what he's giving you. He's giving me my baby, who loves me a lot. He's giving me my kitty, who only loves me and on her terms, which is just like my other cat, Lena. He gave me Kitty, who reminded me of Lena. My oldest daughter, Lena, moved out. He's given me these times to walk with Raine and let her comfort me. He's given me nights to sleep when Josh isn't home and my kitty is by my side every moment. And my kids are getting older. My daughter's 18. She doesn't live with me. She's getting ready to move to St. Louis. And we have had our ups and downs and our fights. And I love that girl. And I'm so proud of who she is. She's strong and she's a fighter. And she is herself. And my son Jonah, who's just turned 17, is so kind, compassionate, and deep, and emotional, and solid, and tame, and a man of integrity. And my daughter Nyla is finding herself. She is not caught in the web and the trap of what it looks like to be a freshman, a 14-year-old who she used to, try to fit in with these people that were just mean and ugly to her. And now she's her own self. And her hair is almost dark black, and I love it, and I know she loves it. She doesn't wear makeup. Yesterday, she wore a dress and heels to homecoming because she wanted to. And she didn't wear any makeup or jewelry. She didn't wear a bra either, which is freaking awesome, you guys. That's awesome. She went with her best friend, who is quirky and unique and herself and free with her, and just going and taking the homecoming pictures with her, and her friend being able to fully enjoy being unencumbered by their anxiety of being with a male date or having to look good and be proper. These girls took the funniest freaking pictures. They stayed at that dance till the end. They enjoyed themselves fully. Oh my gosh, you guys, that is awesome. My son Joel, who is amazing and his own person, and he is on everyone's level. He can make best friends with a 3-year-old or an 85-year-old and anybody in that range. He is himself. He's different from everybody else. He's adventurous and he's wild and he's fun. But one's 18, one's 17, one's 14. This one's getting ready to be 12. My kids are getting older. My husband is gone, working all the time. I have went through a season of darkness. I have lost a lot of support and a lot of friends. But God has done this for me before. When I thought I was alone so many times, He showed me I am not. He's brought new life into me, new people, new desires, new strengths, new observances of myself, breaking of addictions, breaking of toxic cycles, making me stronger, making me aware of my vulnerability to fall into toxic relationships or friendships or whatever out of my past. And He's brought me comfort through my animals, my whole life. And I have these now. I have my beautiful furry friends, animals who love me, and they're here to comfort me. And I hope to God I can comfort them just as much, and I honor them and I treasure them. So that's my story. And it may sound silly, but you guys, it was big. It's big to me, and I love it. And it's one of my joys, and that's why I had to chronicle it, because I want this to be remembered for myself. I'm going to keep doing these things because I am self-aware and I am so contemplative these days. And I love that. And I'm so happy. And I want to share that because you really can get through hard things. If I can get through hard things, you really can get through hard things. And be aware. Be aware of what God's putting in your life to get you through those hard things. You always have something that's going to get you through those hard things. And it's a gift, and don't take it for granted, ever. Anyways, Daily Thoughts with LB.